Hi guys, good morning. It's a wonderful Sunday. So how are you? Hope all are fine. Pleasant morning here. So this is Imran coming live from Synergy Cantonment. So you can catch us live on FB today. Please watch live and also share it to your friends so that everybody can watch it. So so how's life? So we're almost at the end of lockdown 3.0. So God knows what is going to happen from tomorrow. So let's hope for the best. Uh, Hope everybody is safe and sound at home, enjoying life at home, enjoying life with the family members after a very very long time. So wonderful, right? So today we're going to talk about public speaking. So public speaking is an art. Uh, to be frank, public speaking is not a cup of tea for everyone, right? So it is a skill which is very tough. So what we're going to do today is like we're going to just dissect it to make you a better public speaker. So you may see like in the description I've just told you, right? So there are a lot of people who are very good at communication, who are very good at talking one to one or talking in a small group. They are very good, but once you put them onto the onto the sea or give them a mic and make them talk in front of a crowd, they start getting nervous. Their inner fear comes into their face, and they completely what is it like? They completely bluff the entire the speech. So public speaking will just doesn't come like in a day, right? It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of skill. It is a completely different art. So as you know, public speaking. See, there are different types of public speakers. For example, you have like religious speakers, you have political speakers, you have motivational leaders, you have a lot of people. If in case you can take an example of our prime minister, current prime minister also. So the one good thing he is very good at is his public speaking, right? He's a master of public speaking, that is influential public speaking. So as a political leader, as a influencer, he is very comfortable at gaining the attention of people, right? So which is why he's one of the most successful leaders also, one of the reasons why he's successful. So that is one thing. You can take our ex, no, wonderful man, Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam as well, ex-president, scientist, and all those things. So he once, in the European Parliament, gave a speech for maybe a very very short time. I think it would have been one of the most shortest speeches in the European Parliament. He was an invited to the European Parliament, and when he entered that speech, the entire European Parliament, that is, the European Parliament consists of members from all the European countries. Every member of that Parliament stood up and gave him a standing ovation. Right? There was also an announcement made by the European Parliament President that this is one of the best speeches they've ever heard in that room. Right? So again, he is a wonderful speaker, a speaker with a lot of intellect, a speaker with a lot of knowledge, and speaker with who speaks with a lot of content, right? So every speaker has different ways. So you go to a motivational speaker, their natural trend or the natural way they speak will be completely on trying to influence people, trying to motivate people, trying to be more aggressive, trying to be more towards the audience, right? So everybody has a different way of speaking, a different way of telling things. So public speaking will just not happen. You have to have different styles. You have to adapt to different situations, and it is a skill which has to evolve. It will not happen overnight, right? So I just thought, like, since I have come across many people who always say that, no, see, Imran, I talk, no, I'm very good at English. I'm very good in front of a group or front of my known people. But once I someone gives me a mic or someone asks me to stand in front of a crowd and speak, I get nervous. I'm not able to speak. So this is a big problem I have. Because of this, I feel I lose a lot of opportunities. I feel I lose a lot of you know uh, you can say promotions in work life as well. So there are people who lose such stuff because when you have knowledge but you're not able to present it to a group of people, you will lose no opportunities. So that is, so I thought, like, in this time, it is a wonderful time for you to learn. It is a wonderful time where we are having a lot of free time. So morning, everybody's fresh. So I just thought, let's put out some points. No, if you are at home, you are a student, you are working in a company, you are a college professor, you are a teacher, right? You aspire to teach. So the one skill which all these people need, right, even to be a successful entrepreneur, to be a successful employee, you can take any category of employees, you need to know how to talk, you need to know how to do public speaking, right? That becomes a very, very important and crucial skill of your career, and it will also have a large bearing on how successful you are, right? So keeping in mind on those things, I thought let's share what are the main essentials of us being a successful public speaker. So I just jotted down some points. So I feel that these points are going to be, very important, and it is going to be, if these points are there, it is more than enough for anyone to be successful, right? So I'll just bring it up on the screen now. Right. Okay. So here you see, I have jotted down some seven public speaking points, right? So what I'm going to do here is, so I'm going to dissect point by point so that you also get to know, right, what is actually happening. Fine. The first thing is you have to begin with the end in mind, right? This becomes a very important part, because unless you know where you want to end, imagine time is also, the most essential part. So if I'm going to start my presentation now, I have a 1 hour presentation to speak. That at the end of that 1 hour, at the end of 55 minutes, at the end of 59 minutes, what am I expecting, where am I expecting to end? You have to begin with that end in mind, right? So this, you can begin by way of your topic, you can begin it by way of a story, you can begin by way of any presentation, it can be anything, but always begin with the end in mind. This becomes a very important thing, because you have to give your audience, right? For example, just like how I began today, I told you that at the end of this session you will be able to get to know the essentials or the most important points of uh, being a successful public speaker, right? So that is my end, that is my end in mind today, right? So that is how I began my speech. That's how you also should begin your speech. So whenever you're going to stand in front of a crowd, stand in front of a mic and start speaking, the first thing you have to do is always know where you want to end, right? Am I going to make a sale? Am I going to influence the audience? Am I going to join some people into my company today? Am I going to recruit some people into my company today? Do I have a target to achieve? So how do I achieve that target, right? So am I going to talk to a group of investors? How am I going to get those investors to invest in my company? So this should be the end. Now if we're going to talk about being motivational session to students or any company, so how am I going to motivate the employees? So once I complete the session, I end the session, this set of employees should be motivated at the end. If they are not, then there's no use of this time, right? So that is what is very important. So always begin with where you want to end. So that is the first and the foremost, the most important part of public speaking, right? So second, simplify, right? Simplification is very important, right? If you are not simplifying things, no whenever, no, you have a lot of people who will not talk with a lot of knowledge, no talk, who are very good in English, who are having a wonderful vocabulary of words. See, for example, you may be knowing Shashi Tharoor. He's a Kerala member of parliament, a very renowned educationist. He's a well qualified person, right? Always in his speeches, if you even hear a 5 minute or 2 minute speech of him, you can jot down around 10 words which you do not understand, right? He has very good expertise in that, which he has to be appreciated for. But people will do not understand such words. So what you have to do, you have to jot down those words, go back and think. But how many of us will really do that? How many of us will lose interest just because you don't understand such words, right? So that is very important. So simplifying your message, right? Your message should be very simple, it should be crystal clear, to the point. Never go too deep, never act too smart, just because you know it doesn't mean everybody knows, right? So always you have to be very simple, to the point and straightforward. So never no go for very difficult words, new words, so it only mixes up and brings makes the situation more complex. So always simplify it. So as I just like the earlier example of Abdul Kalam sir, he was also a person who, if you go and look at his speeches, you can go and look at his speeches. All his speeches would be very, very simple, to the point, direct. No stuffing here, no stuffing there, no extra points, no extra bits, no extra words. All his words would be very simple. Even a layman can understand what he's talking about. That becomes very important. You have to always simplify whatever you're going to speak. That becomes the second most important point. Okay. Now, the third point, do not rely on PowerPoint, right? This is a very important part when it comes to making presentations, no, with respect to people who are giving a presentation to a particular group of people. Maybe it can be in a college, in a school, in a company, it can be anywhere, right? So what happens is many people, they rely on the PowerPoint to make their presentation, right? Which is 100% wrong. You cannot do that, right? PowerPoint is only made to make your presentation look more attractive. It is done so that it'll gives an audience a summary of what you're talking about, right? So see, for example, I'm using some slides here, or some points to show you. It is better that I type it and keep it and you see it, so that you keep relating to whatever I'm talking to. But I cannot just read out, have paras and paras in PowerPoint and read out. That again doesn't isn't a good skill of a good public speaker, right? So never rely on PowerPoint. A PowerPoint is only a supporting tool to make your presentation better, right? It is never the primary tool of a presentation. The primary tool of a presentation is is your speech, is your words. It is not the PowerPoint. PowerPoint will only structure whatever you're going to say. It will only depict in a different color. It will only depict different typing, so that people can just have a look at the PowerPoint and have a look at you. That's it. So but if you're giving one point in a PowerPoint, you have to speak maybe 1,000 words, 500 words on it, right? That is when your PowerPoint will become powerful, right? So never depend on PowerPoints. So many people, they do a very big mistake is they if they're going to make a 30-minute presentation, they would be they will make up a PowerPoint of 30 slides, imagining that I will speak for each slide for 1 minute, and they will go back. They will have the presentation there on the big screen. People will just see the screen. They will be just talking about. So what happens here? People will lose, right? So that is, you will start losing. People will not be able to understand you. You'll just run through the presentation. A 30-minute presentation will be over in 20 minutes, right? So never do that mistake. So never rely on your PowerPoint, right? So that is a big mistake which everybody does. So just avoid it, right? So don't rely on PowerPoints. Okay, right? So which is our fourth point now? So our fourth point is audience, right? So audience, connecting with the audience. So unless you connect with an audience, you can never be a public speaker. Just the case is done there. It is closed, right? Unless you connect with an audience, you can never become a public speaker, right? Today, whenever you're going to talk to a crowd, the first thing you have to remember is, who am I talking to, right? Who are these people? What language they understand, right? What do they expect out of me? What I say will create an interest amongst them. So these are very important points, right? So you cannot go and talk. See, for example, I'm making a presentation here. I have a lot of my friends looking at, my friends are going to look at it after later on YouTube. I cannot make this presentation in Greek. I cannot make this presentation in Chinese. Nobody will be able to understand, and it will be a waste of time for me and for them, right? So the language you choose becomes very important, right? So many times what happens is, so we are in Tamil Nadu. A lot of people prefer hearing things in Tamil, in the mother tongue. It becomes easier for them to understand. They recollect things. They are able to sustain things. They're able to retain things when they are listening things, when it comes to hearing it in their mother tongue. So in that case, go for Tamil. Don't just speak English because you know English, right? That becomes very important. So always remember, who are you going to talk to? What is the language you are using? That the language you use will, I feel, will be the 75% of audience connect. If you're able to connect with your audience, you have to go for the right language. Use the right medium, right? Coming back here, when talking about language, English. So as I told you, if the audience is comfortable with Tamil, go for Tamil. Don't, just because you know English, don't stuff English, right? So a lot of people would be very will have a question also now. So what if I'm not good at English? Can I be a good public speaker? Of course you can, right? English is a language. It is a medium of communication. It is not the public speaking. It is not your communication, right? What is communication? When I'm speaking something, you have to understand that and respond. That is communication, right? The communication can be in any medium of language. So even if you do not know English, it doesn't mean that you cannot be a good public speaker. You cannot be a good speaker, right? Anybody can be a very good speaker. the language is just a medium of communication, right? So never go or never have it in your mind that I don't know in English தெரியாது, I do not know English, so I'm no என்னால பேச முடியாது. Never be in that. Even if you're talking in Tamil to an English audience who understands Tamil, you can be a successful speaker. Okay, so language a very important part. The second is eye contact, right? So what do you feel is eye contacts, right? See, eye contact is when I'm talking to you, I look at you, right? So what do you get by me looking at you, right? What do you get? Any idea what do you get? Can anyone comment, right? What do you get by you by no when a teacher a speaker is looking at it in your eyes and they are speaking it to you, right? If they are looking at you, what do you really get? Okay, see, the most important thing they get is attention, right? They feel if I'm sitting here and I'm listening to someone who's speaking to us, and if the speaker is establishing eye contact with me, I feel I'm respected, right? That respect turns into attention. That respect turns into responses. So imagine if I'm talking to you on the camera here and I'm looking somewhere else and I'm speaking to you, I'm losing eye contact. My audience is losing a connect. My audience will not respond. My audience will not hear. Same applies to everywhere. You go to any place, you are standing in a podium, standing in with a mic, and you're speaking. Connect with your audience. Connect with your eyes. Your eyes will establish a connect, which would give you, which will earn you respect. That respect would give you the responses. That respect will give you the reciprocity. Right. So without eye contact, nothing can be done. So eye contact is very important, and you have like there's a famous no, lot of you have seen in many movies and a lot of stories. கண்ணை பார்த்து பேசுனா அவன் பொய் சொல்றான், correct? So what happens? Same. So whenever you're very confident, automatically you will start establishing eye contact. When you do not have confidence, you will lose your eye contact, you will lose your audience, right? So it is very important that you establish an eye contact. Okay, so here these two things which I have spoken about, that is language and eye contact, this would enable you to develop a connect with the audience. Without a connect with the audience, you can never be a good public speaker. Okay, fine. So now we move on to the next. The fifth point is the content or the knowledge, right? So obviously no, anybody can speak. If you are a very good speaker, you can speak for hours and hours without any content, without any knowledge. You can just talk something, tell some stories, and still you will be very successful, right? But it will not be it will not sustain. So if a public speaker has to sustain, right, it is very important that you speak with a lot of content, you speak with a lot of knowledge, right? That content and knowledge can be anything. So it can be facts, right? So imagine I'm talking about you can say the economic situation of India right now. I will have to put down some stats. I have to put out some economical stats. I'm talking about the education system in India. I will have to put down some stats. I'm talking about the placement situation in India. I'm talking about the unemployability in India. I will have to put out some stats. So these stats are facts, right? So whenever you add facts to your presentation, right, this is where PowerPoint will come into the picture. You can use a PowerPoint, put down some facts there, and you based on that facts you can make a presentation. So again, your PowerPoint will support you, will give you a more reliability, you will create a reliability. So the audience will start believing in you because you're telling them facts. That becomes very important. Okay, so always talk with facts, right? Secondly, you can include personal stories, so your personal experiences, right? So imagine you went to a public speaking, you like, for example, some few years down the line, I was standing in this place. I was ready to make a speech. I prepared for so many days. I practiced in front of the mirror. I went and stood there and I became blank. This is a personal story, right? So stories which relate to the situation, which will relate to the audience, a story which would actually bring a connect with the audience, right? That becomes very important. So giving examples now, saying that I am from this particular, what relation I have to this institution or to this company from where I'm standing and talking right now. So that will give a very good connect with the audience, and it will give a more reliability. People will believe you, the audience will believe you, the audience will respect you, and the audience will respond to you. Okay, so that becomes content and knowledge, right? So this is just fine. Then next is body language, right? So body language is you have in if you go to any public speaking presentation or whatever it is, just go for search in Google. They call it as a Mehrabian myth, right? So it's called as a Mehrabian myth, Mehrabian myth. This Mehrabian myth is nothing but 80% of the communication is visual, right? Is visual in the sense whenever 80% of the communication, successful communication happens through the eyes, right? I think 10% happens with tone, and the next 10% happens through the words, right? So tone and the words. As I said, communication has a very very small effect on being a successful speaker, right? But the thing which is very neat, that is most important, is your body language, right? So your body plays a huge role in developing a connect with the audience, developing the confidence with the audience, and delivering the content as well. So if you are confident, your body language will be very positive. You have to always be positive with your confidence, right? So that becomes very important. So body language includes everything. It includes your gestures. So gestures are nothing but when you use your hands, right? It is very important that a public speaker uses their hands. So their hands actually would add depth, add strength to the words they are using, right? So that becomes very important. So always use hands, right? Use your nod your head, use your hands, use your hands, use your head, use the movements. Gestures adds to a lot of confidence in public speaking, right? Secondly is using the space. So here using space again, sometimes what happens is you talk to a large crowd, you're given a big stage which can make even 15 people sit, but you are the only person in the stage speaking to people. Now what happens? The entire stage is empty, right? You have a huge crowd, you are standing in the center of the stage and you're speaking. Definitely you will not be able to establish eye contact, you will not be able to establish connect with the audience. This you can take an example. You take a lot of these political meetings, people stand on a podium and speak. How many of you think the audience actually connect with the speaker? No, it is going to be a very very meager amount of people who connect with the audience. The only reason is they are static. You can never be static, you have to move, you have to move. So movement will give you more, it'll add a lot of flow in your speech, it will take you closer to the audience. So imagine, so you are in the center, I have audience to the right, I have audience to the left. If I'm standing in the center and speaking, what happens is uh, I will be only connecting to the audience in front of me. So the audience in the sides would get neglected automatically because my eye contact will not go to the sides. That is where moving helps you. So you move from the center, you move to the sides, so automatically your audience view keeps changing and you'll be able to establish eye contact with the entire audience, right? So this is a very important part of public speaking, and this part only applies when you're doing it for a huge crowd and you have a huge space which is there for you to use. So use those spaces, right? So that becomes very important. So using the space will add to the depth, will add to the creativity, it will add to the connect with the audience. Okay, so also we talk about an open position. Since you're talking about body language, so open position is nothing but you tend to be in a square position rather than for example, I'm standing like this, so I'm looking like this. What happens is, again, I restrict the movement of my hands and I restrict the movement of my legs. So when I'm standing straight, what happens is, that is, if my feet are placed like this, okay, my feet are placed like this, automatically what will happen, there will not be a free flow of my feet. So you will tend to stand in the same place and talk. But what you have to do is, you should have your feet in a V shape. Okay, so I hope you can see it in the camera, I'm not sure. So try to stand in a V shape. So what happens when you're in a V shape, you will be able to move to the right and you'll be able to move to the left automatically. Your body will move. But if you're static, if your feet are straight, pointing straight, both the feet are pointing straight, you will not move. You will not move. Actually, you will not move. You try it at home today, you will not move. Try to have your feet in a V position. Automatically, your feet will take you to the right or the left, and you'll be able to establish eye contact. So using your having, it is called as open position. That is, you are able to move both the sides, your hands are able to move both the sides. That becomes very important. Okay, so that is body language for you. Next is be yourself. What happens is, many times a lot of people try to copy others. There are people who would not only in public speaking, in any, you can take it, you can take this point for any field, for any activity. If there is any successful sports person, there's a successful writer, there's a successful author, there's a successful teacher, there's a successful professor, right? There's a successful businessman. What people do, they try to emulate, they try to copy, they try to be that person, right? Never do that, but always try to learn from them, right? If he's a very good public speaker, if he's a very good businessman, if he's a very good teacher, if he's a very good author, learn from them, make them your guru. Don't become that person, right? So get a lot of points from them, try to get a lot of knowledge out of them, try to learn the good things which they are doing, then implement that good things on your style, right? Don't make your style their style. You should have your own way, you should have your own way of talking, you should have your own way of telling things to everyone, right? So never copy or never emulate another person. That is again a very important part. Okay, so be yourself. So this be yourself will happen, I'm sure it will not happen overnight again. It will happen, this last, I have put it wantedly in the last, so that this be yourself will happen only if the above 6 points actually happen, right? Only if you are having no, if you know what is your end, if you know what is your target, you will be able to be yourself. Only if you are talking facts, you have knowledge, you have content, you are very confident in whatever you're doing. So obviously, whenever you have content and knowledge, you will be very confident. You will be able to establish eye contact, so you'll get an audience contact, right? So if all these things are happening, ultimately you will become yourself. If you are not having, you are losing confidence, you are having enough fear that no, what if I don't talk well, what if I fail, what if I do not do this, what if I fail in this, what if I don't do that. So automatically what will happen, you will never be yourself, right? So that again is a very important thing. So try, you have to be yourself. To be yourself, the above 6 points become very important. Okay, so I'll just quickly run through the 6 points. So begin with the end in mind, right? The first thing, simplifying your message using simple words. Do not go for very hard words, difficult words. Never rely on PowerPoints. Never audience connect. Talk the right language. Never go for a language which the audience doesn't understand. Never go for a language just because you know that language, right? So automatically you will be able to establish eye contact. So eye contact establishes, makes the audience feel that you respect the audience, right? And they will reciprocate with responses, and they will reciprocate the same respect. So that becomes very important. So if you want the audience to respond to you, you have to establish an eye contact. There is no substitute for this. Content and knowledge. So always talk with facts, include a lot of stories, right? That becomes again very important part. Body language, right? So have a very good body language, open position, as I was explaining to you. Use your hands. So when I say use your hands, again, it is not just don't use a lot of hands, right? So putting your hands right and left, no, not required. Use your hands only when it is needed. Your hands actually, whenever you use hands, it will, especially for a public speaker, right? See, if you're going to talk in front of a camera like this, your hands may not be very important because your focus is totally different. But in a public, when you're doing a speech in front of a crowd, your whole body appears to the people, right? So your hands, your legs, everything people can see. So that is why you cannot have your hands attached to your body. No, it'll make people feel that, oh, who's this guy? Who's they will start feeling. So always use your hands. That will generate confidence. That will give you also confidence. It will make you bring a flow to your speech, right? So always use your hands, right? So as I said, use your space as well. So if you have a big stage, always use the space. Go right, go left. It doesn't mean you have to stand in the center. So always, I also prefer. So basically, because of this point, whenever you go to any place and people ask you to talk, if you're given a podium and they ask you to talk, if the crowd is big, if you feel that the crowd is big, it is a chance for being a very interactive crowd. leave the podium, request for a hand mic, walk to the crowd, go down, go from the stage, go down and speak with the crowd. I bet that presentation would be, or that speech of you would have a lot of interaction. It would give you a lot of response, right? So try to avoid the podium. It makes us, as I said, like political speakers. No, it is just one way communication. When you are at a podium, what happens is the people who are before you or in front of you, they hesitate to respond. They feel that, oh, this guy is talking from a podium. He's a very big guy. No, we cannot respond. So only the few people will respond. The others will, just leave it off. But if you're able to walk to the audience, go to the audience, get down, go to the audience, get a hand mic, get a column mic, and speak, automatically people will connect to you. You will be able to, also it helps in establishing eye contact with more people. Imagine you stand in a stage and you are speaking. The eye contact will be restricted to the front 5-6 rows. If the crowd is more, even lesser rows, right? So when you go to the audience, what happens is you'll be able to establish eye contact with many more people, which will turn into a lot of responses. It will turn into a lot of interactions. Ultimately, it will become a very successful session, right? So that, again, using your space, very important. And at the last was be yourself, right? So be yourself. Do not copy anyone. Do not copy anyone, for heaven's sake. Obviously, you can take points from people who are doing good. The people who are doing good, they are doing good just for people who are learning to learn from them, right? So get good points, get good inputs from them, but do not be them. Be yourself. That becomes a very important point. Okay, so there you go. So I have shared you, so like 7 points to be a successful public speaker today, right? So this is a time when, no, everybody is at home, so you have a lot of free time. You will be doing a lot of things, right? So if you have an aim of, becoming a good speaker, being presentable to people, you want people to talk to you, you want people to listen to you, you want people to respond to whatever you're saying, right? Public speaking is an art which you should develop, right? So develop this art. You can, when you're free at home, try things. You can go for, normally, how you can develop your public speaking is by stressing yourself, fixing a particular time and speaking, using, you ensure that you put your right hand on, you raise your right hand and you speak for 2 minutes. This will help you in future to develop the skill of using your hands. One more way you can do is physical stresses. You imagine, you're going to practice for 3 minutes at home, right? In this time, you're going to pick a topic comfortable, which you are comfortable with. So our ultimate aim here is not to talk. Ultimate aim here is to bring in a practice of moving or using the space. That time, what you do is pick a topic. Imagine you're going to do it for 3 minutes. The first minute, you're going to stand in the center and speak. Once the first minute, keep a timer so that it will beep. 1 minute is done, or keep a timer or a clock in front of you. After the first minute, move to the right and speak. After the second minute, move to the left and speak. Facilitate the movement. This would help you to practice natural movement from the time you talk, and this will transform of you using the spaces whenever you're doing a public speech. Okay, so drive, physical stress, vocabulary, again, as I said, is not much of importance. The topic, the content is very important. So never do any presentation or never do any speech without even 2 or 3 facts. It's very important to use facts, right? So public speaking, again, so coming back, a lot of people have this fear. They are very good in English, they are very good in communication, very good, they have very good vocabulary, they have very good content, but they do not know how to speak. They become blank when they stand in front of a mic. So remember these 7 points which I have told you, right? So I'll just quickly again tell you what are the 7 points. So first thing is, begin with the end in mind, simplify your message, do not rely on the PowerPoint or your slides, connect with the audience, content and the knowledge is very important, body language, and being yourself. Okay, so have all these points in mind. I promise you, you will be a very successful speaker if you're able to practice these 7 points. Okay, so thanks for your time. So thanks for joining me today on this bright Sunday morning. So hopefully this session has been useful for you. You're taking back some knowledge out of this session. So thank you so much for spending your time, and you can always go back and watch this video. You can share this video. It is going to be available on our Facebook page. It is going to be available on our YouTube account. again, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all go by the name Synergy Cantonment. You can always go back and share to your friends to go and view these videos. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for live updates and to get instant updates and a lot of informative videos in the future, right? So thank you so much. So hit the like button, share the video to your friends, also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this video is going to be available. Those are missed it live, don't worry, it is going to be available in our wall. It is going to be available on our YouTube in a very short while. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your Sunday. Have good food. Stay home. Learn safe. Thank you so much.